All right, let's call this meeting to order. Stand to the side. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have Laura print off some agendas since I kind of forgot and she don't have this up, so you guys might want them. So we'll suspend the roll call for a few minutes here. Are there any corrections or additions to the agenda?
I believe that she's back. There she is.
Your copy. Another copy. Commissioner Carl?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson? Commissioner Reed? He's here. Commissioner Whittington? Commissioner Burkle?
Here.
And I'm here. Reading of the cash balance.
One of the is $56,944. Advance for the 560 is $655,000. Advance for the 239 Wall Street, $350,000. Advance for the 216 911 $125,000. Total general fund cash, $56,948.94 is going to bill.
Chair, I'd like to come out at 9:45. I have to leave at 9:45 for Dr. Quentin Standish, so I'd like to get an report now with him, and we're going to try himself. In regards to the letter from Mr. Dunn, I'd like to refer that letter to the county committee for review and recommendation. And I attended the township meetings last month. Last night was the council of local government in Central Michigan District Health Department. And from the township, we're all in the and what it would cost. And some of the townships that do it in now, but the prices keep going up on the units and safety. What we could do the other way. And planning committee has also proposed changing the duty schedule to having it from May, June, July, and August as a regularly scheduled meeting. And to meet the rest of the year on a as-needed basis. Probably see it's around $2,000 a year, but it has to go and have a public hearing first. So after that, I'll be bringing that back to the board. That's all I have. Thank you.
Was there any questions in regards to the Tom Gunn, the letter and the understanding that the planning commission, when did they meet next?
First Wednesday of the month, Justin will probably do something earlier for next year. I think we just chat again.
Okay. Anything else for Dennis? Thank you, guys. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda. Support. Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Public comments. Any public comments? This is on the Wixom Lake Association.
Yes. Wixom Lake Association. I'm Don Zackett. I'm a member of the Wixom Lake Association, and I'm on the dam project study group. This group has been studying the dam situation and Boyce's project and plans for conducting that project. We will be releasing a frequently asked question sheet or flyer. I've got a couple of copies here. It will be posted on the Wixom Lake Association website within the next day or so. The information within this flyer was extracted from letters that have been returned from FERC regarding questions that were submitted by the Whitson Lake Association to Congressman Dave Camp's office. So we have written answers from Washington, D.C., the chairman of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. These original letters are also posted on the website. I can provide a brief summary. I'm not going to read through them, but I'll summarize the questions and answers. These are related to issues that have caused a great deal of concern recently. Question: will Whitson Lake property owners be required to pay voice for work on the dam? The answer: no. In the words of John Wellinghoff, the chairman of Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC has never, quote, FERC has never required local property owners or governments to subsidize a licensee's performance of repair work, end quote. In addition, no one at the state, county, or township level has started the process to create special assessments. We believe we would know this if it hadn't started. Question: is the $8 million, if the $8 million Edenville Dam project isn't done, the newspaper article said Whitson Lake may be drained. Is that true? Would the lake be drained? The answer: no. The dam owner has said he cannot afford to do the project, so he intends to submit documents to begin the surrender of his FERC license. According to the FERC chairman, quote, it should be noted that removal of dams is not a standing requirement for license surrenders, and thus surrender would not result in the dam removal in the normal course of events, end quote. Question: the project calls for lowering Whitson Lake level 8 feet during the summers of 2014 and 2017. That means we lose the lake for 2 summers. Is that really necessary? The answer: it does not appear to be necessary. The plan FERC approved, this is the plan that FERC approved, but also the plan Boyce says it cannot afford to follow. On June 13th, FERC Director William Allerton instructed Boyce to schedule a review of the project to look for other engineering solutions. The original project, described to the public, may never happen. If the original project is done, a dam engineer has already advised the Whitson Lake Association that that work could be done without drawing down Whitson Lake in either 2014 or 17. However, doing the work with the lake at normal levels would add cost to the project and would require FERC approval of a project modification. Question: if the dam project starts, how do we know the dam owner won't stop once the lake is drawn down and then demand money from the public so we can finish the project and refill the lake? FERC senior personnel are well aware of this concern, and they've heard it often from private citizens all the way up through Congressman Camp and Senator Stabenow. The dam owner has been upfront in telling everyone he doesn't have enough money even to start the project, let alone finish. FERC should be aware that the dam is more vulnerable to failure due to proposed 8-foot drawdowns, and that would certainly be a reason to avoid having the project come to a stop at that point. According to John Wellinghoff, chairman, quote, the commission has the authority to require whatever is deemed appropriate to facilitate accomplishing the work in a safe and complete manner. This would include items such as bonding, if appropriate and practical, end quote. Lastly, when will we know what's going to happen to the dam? And our advice is be patient. If Boyce follows the license surrender process, that process can take years to resolve. So it may be years before this is finally settled. Also, depending upon the outcome of the upcoming meeting, the engineering plans may change significantly. We will provide updates as they become available. Thank you.
Any questions? That's pretty thorough. Thank you much for the update.
There are copies, a few copies up here if you wish.
Okay. Any other public comments? Linda, welcome. How are you?
Good morning.
We're pleased to be with you this morning and bring you an update and information about community mental health for Central Michigan. I'm Linda Cochran, Executive Director, and Fred Durr is the Program Director for Gladwin County. And our agency is a 6-county mental health authority that, as you realize, serves the counties of Clare, Gladwin, Isabella, Mecosta, Midland, and Osceola. The Gladwin County Board of Commissioners appoints 2 members to our mental health board. The one representing the County Commission is Terry Walters, and Cindy Kushner also serves from Osceola County. Gladwin County contributes $91,531 to the agency budget. This amount of contribution has been a fixed amount since the late 1990s when we became an authority, so we did not ask for increases during those years, subsequent years. The local dollars are extremely important because they help us match other funds, and that we are not otherwise able to have to match funds such as Medicaid and other state general fund dollars. Last year, the agency expenditure for Gladwin County for mental health services was $4,388,368. And almost 85% of our revenue is from Medicaid now. The agency employs 351 regular staff and 26 are located in Gladwin County. And during last fiscal year, we served a little over 9,000 people with a little over about 850 people being served in Gladwin County. We provide a number of different services, mostly for individuals with a serious mental illness, serious emotional disturbance, co-occurring mental illness and substance use disorder, or developmental disabilities. And over the past few years, we've been very active in adopting a number of evidence-based practices, and that just really means there's research-based evidence that the treatment methodologies are working. And we're very encouraged with the success individuals have had on their recovery journey with these interventions. We're also involved in assuring the integration of substance use disorder treatment, physical health care, and behavioral health care, and have several co-located therapists with primary care offices. The current issues in Michigan that I wanted you to be aware of with mental health are one, changing in the laws of for children with autism. 2, the change in the number of prepaid inpatient health plans, and that's who gets the Medicaid dollars first for behavioral health care, and the potential expansion of Medicaid eligibility. The agency began offering enhanced services for children with autism ages 18 months through age 5 up to age 6 for individuals on Medicaid April 1st. That was a new program, new legislation that went in, and we haven't served a great many people thereafter, but are poised and ready to do so as people come forward. Then on the second topic of concern, the State Department of Community Health decided to lower the number of prepaid inpatient health plans in the state. And currently, our agency is not only a community mental health authority, but also a prepaid inpatient health plan where we receive the first dollar Medicaid from the state. And they wanted to reduce the number from 18 to 10. There was not a clear reason for that, but they proceeded along. And so we are in now with a group that really encompasses most of eastern Michigan, central, and then on down through the Ohio border. It's 5 current PIHPs, or prepaid inpatient health plans, merged into one. And that's been a good thing in every way except for funding. When the state first gave monies on Medicaid, they based that on prior funding. And unfortunately, there are several groups, Saginaw and Lifeways that serve Jackson and Hillsdale counties, who are some of the lowest funded in the state. And of course, if we end up needing to average those funds in this new region, that will be reduced funding for the citizens of Gladwin County along with the rest of our area. We're working politically and with the Department of Community Health to not have that happen, and they have promised to try to do that. The one way that they were hoping would help bail that out would be with the expansion Medicaid, and if you've been following that at all, that is in some trouble. The expansion of Medicaid, we believe, is a good thing in that it covers individuals up to 133% of the federal poverty limit. That gives individuals in our communities health care that they were unable to have previously. We currently have a waiting list for individuals who are not on Medicaid and are being served with local and general fund dollars because we don't have enough of those. And many of those individuals would be eligible for expansion Medicaid, and so then have the health care, not only the physical health care, but also behavioral health care that they require. The Michigan, that would expand coverage to about 470,000 people in Michigan, so quite a large number. And it's one of those things that has been viewed by both the Michigan House and Senate fiscal agencies to be fiscally a good thing for Michigan, because of course the federal government covers 100% of the funding for the first 3 years, and then it's stepping down to 90% that would eventually come in 2020 and go on thereafter. So obviously, though, this has not moved forward. While the House did recently pass an amendment including Medicaid expansion, the Senate went into recess without a vote. As what I'm told, they had enough votes, they just wanted more votes before they took it up for a vote. So that's a concern. I heard this morning on the news that the governor is now going around the state trying to help support and have people currently. That would help our funding, I think, but on a more upbeat note, though, Craig's going to tell us a little bit about some of the newer services we've been doing.
Thank you for having us. As Linda said, I'm Craig Durham, I'm the program director for Gladwin. Gladwin Hospital Last. So really looking at, everything that we can do. Evidence-based practices certainly are part of that. That if we're going to do something, it's important that the money and the resources that we have, that it's effective. So we really focus in on doing what's effective for the community members and the people that we serve. So really we're looking at evidence-based practices. Another piece of that is collaboration with other agencies, as we're all having budget crunches and fiscal, certainly fiscal concerns as we look at being the most efficient that we can. So certainly we're doing a lot more with agencies and trying to collaborate. Certainly I attend collaborative boards to look at how can we all work together, whether it's looking at rural transportation to make sure people get to appointments, whether they're physical health or mental health, substance abuse treatment appointments. Certainly we're looking at working with DHS more as far as looking at what kind of services that maybe overlap in the people that we work with. Another group that we work actively with is Gladwin County, the Sheriff's Department, jail diversion, looking at what kind of services, what kind of, how do things work, and how can we make them work smoothly when we're working with individuals. Coupled with that, certainly working with juvenile court and trying to figure out how can we, work with our shared individuals and families that we work with, so that we can try to get people on the right track, help them the best that we can. And then the last thing that we're really looking at is treatment court here, certainly in this county. Recently attended a meeting. I've been invited to be part of that board to look at, the drug and alcohol treatment courts as far as, services, coordination of services, so that hopefully those individuals can get on track and don't end up in the county jail and eventually, the worries about getting into the state system as well. So really, I guess in a nutshell, we're just trying to work together the best we can. You'll see me more out and about. We'll probably run into each other as I'm in the community, really reaching out, trying to figure out how can we all work together and be efficient. So thanks for having me.
Here's a copy of our annual report with any questions. Ready to answer them?
Sheriff, did you have anything to add?
No, we have some good connections over with our community mental health, so we've got some good avenues that we travel as far as communications go. It's good.
Any other questions? Thank you guys for coming, appreciate it. We played email tag, so good to have you. Rick Seebeck called me just a little while ago. He's unable. He had something spring up that he had to have his attention given to, so he won't be here this time.
How do
And
you move that auction?
I was getting to that.
Oh.
We did sell the tractor for $2,000 less, whatever the,
Saturday?
yes. Well, it actually sold, it didn't sell Saturday, and the guy came back and decided that he would take it Sunday. And Adam was still there, so the tractor's gone, and then that trailer that I emailed you all sold, I think that sold for $20 or something. So, both of those are done. Let's see, committee reports. You're done. Commissioner Virgo.
Yeah, those last 2 or 3 weeks have been spent on some Michigan Health Department interviews all day, 8 straight hour interviews. Last Thursday, we narrowed it down to 3 candidates. We meet again Wednesday afternoon to re-interview those last 3 contenders. I've reviewed the city, no serious problems there. Fair board, serious problems, and the airport hanging in there good. But the health department should be resolved. As you know, we're replacing our director. She's retiring in September, and the start date for the new person will be August. So the transition is about a 60-day or 30-day transition. So everything seems to be fine there. That's it.
Thank you. You're going to get into finance stuff. Is that fine today?
I headed towards the township meeting last week. That's all we know. He's going to be
What township did you say?
and a couple of finance meetings, and that's about all I've got.
Do you want to read the finance matters? You have your, they're on your minutes, right there, go. All right. Right on the front page.
Rick Gadd spoke to the committee about the repairs that were needed in the observation cell at the jail. The committee made a recommendation to have them repaired. The treasurer and clerk have asked for the monthly bonus stipend. There was discussion on who qualifies for the stipend. The committee felt that the guidelines cover both individuals to receive it. The county treasurer did request that she be allowed to attend her annual conference. The committee made the recommendation for her to attend. The committee then met with Phil Hammerbacher and Bill Roscoe on upcoming union negotiations. It was decided that a letter and a copy of the draft audit would be sent out to the union officials for review, and a date would be set for a meeting of July the 25th. The committee continued the discussion on negotiating strategies and financial issues. The finance matters, the supervisor submitted a quote for repairs to the jail cell. Total cost of $1,795 that will be paid from 101-351-930-000 upon approval. Anybody make that motion?
Support.
Mr. moved and supported, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Christian Dedicated County Treasurer has requested to attend the annual conference on Crystal Mountain. Deposit cost of $197.67, with a registration fee of $125. Cost to be paid from line 101-253-860-000. Was approved.
Support.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Last but not least, the draft audit has been provided, we will review a motion that you just approve the audit as prepared and allow the F-65 to be filed with the state. And we'll get that done.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And we get quick to
Under some of my comments, you guys received a letter from our Labor Council, Baruchko, in response to some of the emails and concerns with the court's healthcare. And he is currently digging into that and trying to correspond with Cadillac Insurance. And you've read his memorandum here. This appears to be a time-sensitive issue, so I'm not certain that we won't have to have a special meeting at some point, just to let you guys know. It really depends on what he's able to uncover with Cadillac. And I don't know if Terry didn't talk to you, but Bill called this morning. We might have to meet Thursday with him and Lisa here possibly if you're around. Don't know yet. He's trying to set up the time, but I'll let you know. So as soon as we dig something up, and you know, we'll let you guys know. And I don't expect Walters to be back this week. So that's that. And then additionally, I put in your folders the under letterhead. This is a letter going out to all the unions of the GDL, CPOAM, and UAW in regards to wanting to open up our contracts. But additionally, we really want to sit down and talk with them on July 25th at 10 a.m. And I will sign that and send that out to the appropriate units if you guys are comfortable with the wording of the letter.
Is the POLC on there, John?
Yeah, it's just keep have that in here.
Motion or that. I've moved for our training, so support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I know the treasurer called me, and she's not interested in the phone stipend after further consideration on that. I have a list here of townships and cities that are interested in mosquito, and I guess at the end of the day, it don't really matter how many. I know that your whole district is. Mine is less. Tobacco Township wasn't really interested. And we've got Gladwin City, Beaverton, Sage Bay, Sherman, Clement, Buckman. Seacourt has their own, but I don't know that they wouldn't be interested in trying to reduce their rate. And I think Billings has their own, but they might. Did I get the gist from Larry last night? They were interested in.
And Seaport also said that the truck is paying quite a high price for this, so I think we'd be interested in looking at it as well.
I think so, the way, just as far as us trying to reduce the rate, but at this point it don't matter. We have enough townships and cities interested. We should probably move forward with something, so.
We should probably do one with all of them, including neighborhood,
Right.
and people look at it.
Right. So, we need to figure out how to move forward with that. It's not going to happen this year, but we need to certainly maybe this winter dig into that deeper. So I'll just start a folder in here, and then we'll start maybe getting bids and get people more interested this winter when things slow down a little bit.
What was interesting at the meeting last night, there was two townships that are doing their own mosquito control, each the same company, and there's quite a difference in monies in each township to what they were paying. So I think you're interested in looking at another avenue if it's available.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think we paid it up for because it's a couple, so you have to, I think it has to be
was $30,000.
And then I know we get these emails from NATO, but an interesting article in here when I was reading through this brochure last night. Cook County, Illinois holds expungement summit, and essentially some of the criminal offenses can be expunged, and then that allows people to, I guess let's just make it simple. If they were naughty when they were younger and they get that felony expunged, then these people don't have such a challenging time trying to get their jobs being a nurse or whatever. And this seems to be a pretty successful program there, and I don't know that it's about money at all. It's more about getting people out and working again. So that nurse, yeah, I know. So I'm just going to pass this on to the judges, just because I think it's an interesting concept that we should at least consider here. I think that there's certainly the demographical difference and population difference. I know you're getting the email for sure, which to me I'd rather have email than them sending me in. But if anybody wants this, it's here, because I really don't need the paper version, so feel free. And I've been getting emails, and this really comes to my personal county email, but it really is also whole county. There's a gal by the name of Lorraine Gunderson who's having issues of her own, and I just want you to know that the prosecutor's office has looked at it. I know a sheriff's department has been out there multiple times, and I don't want to get into great detail, but if you hear from her, you know, she's got some issues that we're working on, and we've been working on. It's just we're not moving as fast as what she would like us to. So, fair enough. I got the track here, expungement summit. Then I've got some things here. I've received from Mr. Tom Dunn, and thank you. There's a land patent information packet for you guys to review. I'll leave that here on the desk. And I've got multi-annual implementation plan for Region 7 here with a letter for you guys' review. This is just their annual implementation plan that I will file. Also, Claire Gladwin RESD basically stating this letter says that they applied for the grant for the Sparks program and they were denied, and they were just letting us know that that happened this year. I also have a letter from, I can't even pronounce all this, JRSJ. It's a attorney firm that represented the county of Gladwin with MMRMA, and this dates back over 7 years ago, and there was a case, Armeline versus Gladwin County, and it's been settled, and so I just need to sign this with your guys' permission and let them know that they can destroy those files, because it's over 7 years old, so. It's been moved and supported. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Also, I have a letter from the Department of Human Services essentially stating in a page and a half that they have received their grant application and they are working on fulfilling the remainder 50% of that grant. So we requested $544,000. They've got $272-ish appropriated so far, so they're working on the remainder. And I had one phone call. This is after the Amish buggy accident the other day, and then I had a gentleman stop out at the lumberyard. I talked with the sheriff about this yesterday. He did a considerable amount of work several years ago on lighting or reflective material of some nature on Amish buggies. I think the direction I personally would rather go, and I'm not sure about this board, is that we just produce a resolution, and I'm willing to do that, and send that off to MAC and State Department of Transportation and let them know that it's a concern of ours, that we would like them to consider working something out with the Amish communities. Most of them in Clare area use some sort of lighting or reflectors, and it would be nice if we could work on something here. And a lot of times that's, in the sheriff's words, is buying the bishop some dinner whatever it is, but I think it's something that we should at least let them know it's an issue for us. We think that they should consider it and work something out with the Amish community. So, without any strong opposition from you guys, I'll work on a resolution, maybe collectively with the sheriff, and we'll send something on. That's if you're willing.
I think the subtle approach with our neighbors is the better approach versus the governmental. And I've communicated with most of the bishops in days gone by because this isn't a recent problem. There's some history in it with some litigation from years ago. I've contacted the OHSP, I've contacted the 3M Reflective Company, so there's a lot of thing, and I think it would be best suited for maybe a committee or something so I can tell you the miles that have already been traveled because of some opposition to the English way and the Amish way in days gone by. But I think between the two of us, we can eloquently work on this to help out our English community primarily and the Amish community.
I'll get with you on it. And we'll work out something for sure. I just don't want it to just collide there and nothing be done personally, so. We accepted the draft audit. Jackie Morgan, so you guys know, is coming for some grant signatures from me, which we've already preliminarily approved for the park. And I just want, that's sometime today, right? So I'll hang around till 10. And I too, with Commissioner Whittington, have been to multiple finance meetings still, and probably will continue. So, and Council Local Government was a real good turnout actually last night. I chaired that for Kevin Bantini, and everything seems to be going pretty good. Anything else? All good. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
Well, just quick comments on the status of the economy in Gladwin. Things seem to be going very well, and our partnership with the EDC and Michigan Works is going very, very well. Gives us an opportunity to work with employers for job searching, which there are a lot of jobs open and available right now. We're doing a lot of matching, so employment seems to be going pretty well. We're still doing several on-the-job training contracts, subsidizing wages, working with a lot of the different partners, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, Michigan Manufacturing and Technology Center, Mid-Michigan Community College, which today have over 20 people graduating from the CNC and welding program. So those 20 plus people will be out in looking for jobs. We've already placed, I think, a couple of them. So things are going really well. This summer I'll be attending a business service professional training, 2 days in July, 2 days in August, 2 days in September. I'll be attending a Michigan Economic Development seminar for 4 days in September. So a lot of good things going on.
Anything else from the public? Anything from the board? See, you didn't have to give your...
Move to receive and file.
Support. It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion adjourned.
I'll support that. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Good meeting.
This was co-op, and I still move.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Gina Conrad, Egyptian Walker, requested to attend our annual conference in Evanston, Illinois. Cost would be $583 for train ticket, lodging, and registration. Mr. Conrad will be seeking reimbursement for mileage and meals. The committee has made the recommendation that Mr. Conrad be allowed to attend the conference only if the costs are shared with the coordinator from Roscommon County.
Has that been agreed to? Roscommon?
Yes, they're going.
She's in the process of taking it to her board, but that's usually what we do is if one can't go, then the costs go up so much that it's really not feasible for us to attend. But when she can go and we can share the room and mileage and a lot of other things, it makes it.
When is this coming up to?
November.
We could wait next month until we find out what we're doing with it.
Or we could approve it in contingency upon her going.
It's contingent on her going so she can make reservations and stuff.
That's right.
You cannot find what millage is there.
Is there support? Oh, I'm sorry. You moved, didn't you? My bad. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
I have to drive to.
Motion passes.
With the stipulation.
292 child care fund is in need of further appropriation. A motion is needed to allow the treasurer to disperse up to $25,000 to DHS closing as needed. And I'll make that motion.
And they are $51.86 in the hole. That's, so it's been moved and supported. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Some of that, again, I went to their board and we was talking about some of those increased expenses, so hopefully that'll help with it.
Josh,
Yes,
there was 20,000 in appropriations for 292 fund, so we'll transfer that, so you're giving them an additional 5. We need to make a budget amendment on that.
I'll make that part of the motion so you'll do
Thank you.
Well, hold on, I have a question. They have 25,000 as part of their budget, they're giving them an extra 25,000. So it would be a budget amendment for an extra 25,000. Was that your understanding?
I think they have 20.
They have 20 available.
They have 20 available, so they'll essentially need 30 total.
No, he asked for another 75,000 in his budget. You guys were giving him 25,000. Not just an extra 5, because he's already got 20 there. 30. That was my understanding, but I don't know if that's your understanding.
Yeah, I know he wants another 75, and I know that the costs are, and I'm going off memory here, people, so I think the costs are about $18,000 a month for that, for what's going on right now with some of those kids in foster care. So we should allow, and we can do the budget amendments, obviously, I'll have Neil do that, but we need to allow up for Christie to appropriate up to the 75 as needed, whether we like it or not. But if you want to, I mean, we can approve 25 right now, that
That's
might get him
what you
through
just
2
did.
months. And then he can come back if he needs more.
So then, Christie, the budget amendment would be for 25,000, because it would be the 40 that's already there that doesn't need amended, and then plus the 25,000,
There's
right?
only 20 there.
There's 20 there, but that's already part of the budget.
Right, but the
And if they're
board
gonna give
stopped
them-
all appropriations at the last board meeting. So I didn't make the transfer.
Fair
We're
enough.
holding the check.
So our motion just needs to include allowing Christie to transfer the 20,000 and then an additional 25 if needed. If we do that, it's clean and I can have Neil do a budget amendment. And that should buy him at least 2 months.
So then I guess I would say that you need to do another motion allowing for appropriations
Of
of
the
that fund and
20,000.
any other fund that you want to do, because as of last meeting, all appropriations were cut off. So I think we had talked about doing a list of who's cut and who's not.
So let's transfer the 20 for now, right? That's what we moved.